it is really cold out, so this will probably be a nice short little, yeah, right, short from me. The moon. Anyway, and I have gotten requests for updates. Oh, there's Perry. There's the one that had his leg amputated, hopping along. He's a good boy. Another reason to make this short. Oh, and there's Percy. He's the one who was sick in November. My two little sicky cats. And I think the one that's supposed to be on these walks is not coming. Anyway, as far as an update, kind of more of the same. My son is still in the hospital. They've suggested he might have schizophrenia or some variation thereof. Which makes me feel really bad because, I mean, on the one hand, he keeps saying it's not his fault what he's done. Well, if he's told to do it. The other thing is, it's kind of, wow, they actually plowed the sidewalk. Perry. Perry's very scared of cars lately. Makes sense. Anyway, the other thing is, it's very common for people with avoidant personality disorders to sort of have conversations with themselves in their heads, not aloud. And they do it for, excuse my breath. It is really cold out. Anyway, they do it for a couple of reasons. One is because they're lonely and they have conversations that they wish they were having with people. And the other is because interacting is so difficult for people with avoidant personality disorder that a lot of times they sort of practice the conversations ahead of time. And they try to come up with a worst case scenario. And practice, well, if this happens, if this person says this, blah, blah, blah. Well, my son talks aloud to himself all the time. And I never noticed it because, like I said, it's kind of normal for me. They're coming. So I sort of thought it was normal for him, but apparently he's not having, practicing conversations to himself. He's hearing oral hallucinations. Somewhat. Or something, I don't know. Because he's 18 and I have no access to his medical records, but I really feel like I should have picked up on that. He's in a different hospital system. He's like 3-hour drive away from here. And I think he did that. I'm not sure. It might be that was the only place open for him, but I think he requested it. It's very pretty. He looks like he has fish scales. That's his pattern. Anyway, so because they don't have his regular records and he's not in their system, I mean, they obviously got the records, but I think having fresh eyes, the doctors may have seen this, or maybe he's gotten much worse because he's gone off his meds. Maybe I was keeping his schedule so that he was keeping it in check. I don't know. Anyway, bums me out. I'm still planning my trip. It's difficult because usually the reviews, a positive review will say, they're so friendly there. And it's like, wait a second. No, I don't want friendly. I want somebody that's going to let me do my thing and leave me be. So weird looking at my breath. And Perry is way down there. No worries. I'll get him on the way back. Purse! Percy loves the snow. He will jump into the snow, dive into it, and swim through it. It looks like Bugs Bunny when he's digging through the dirt. It's quite funny to me. Anyway. So, I'm sorry about seeing my breath, but it's very cold. The reason I made the video was not about all that crap. Was to talk about stuff that came up in my therapy today, which is one, that my therapist is like, well, you know, there's nothing keeping you from doing anything and everything that you want to do. And I'm just like, And he's attributing it to avoidance. No. What it is I'm extremely frugal. I don't have credit card bills. I don't have a car payment. I have really cheap car insurance. You know, and my house expense is far less than normal because it's been the same for 10 years and everywhere else is going up, and I just haven't done anything to increase that. So, you know, I mean, my household expenses are less than $1,100 a month. That's dead cheap. But I needed that to be that cheap because I needed to be so flexible for taking care of my family. And now I don't have to take care of them. I haven't really changed much. I'm still, you know, super flexible and, you know, can take off any type of work any time I want. He wants me to go back. Okay, guess we're going back. This will be super short. And that's way more. I mean, he's saying, my therapist, that he thinks it's because I don't have these burdensome relationships that I have to maintain, that I don't have to take anybody else's thoughts and desires into account when I'm planning these trips, which is true. They're also much cheaper when it's one person compared to two. You'd think that it would be cheaper, you know, that you get, like, say, one hotel room for two people, but you've got to, you know, pay to have airline tickets, you know, that are in pairs, as opposed to me, which gets a one ticket, you know, super cheap price. By the way, how do I travel? I use Skyscanner. I put in whatever airport I want to leave from and say, cheapest place on earth, and it pops up. And literally that's how I'm planning these trips. There's my guys. Purse. Ignore me. Are you frozen? You want to go home now? Do you want to go home? Your tail's all fluffed out. You're either scared, or it might have been that truck. Or freezing. I don't know. Anyway. Come on. Come on. He's coming back. I don't know about Percy. Percy's gone off to play with whatever he can find animals. Yeah. I've heard that before. I live the life. It's what everybody wishes they could do. I read a ton of books from the library when I can concentrate to read. I cook for myself, I make bread, things like that. I've got all the time in the world because I'm on my own. I get to pick when my hours are that I work. I mean, seriously, I absolutely have to get up and go. I'll never have sick time or anything like that. I have to be prepared for that. But, which kind of sucks when I have really low periods. I know not everybody gets sick time, but I've, heard of people who were able to take leaves because of avoidant personality disorder, depression, and still get paid and not have money be an issue. But I know this is going to be an issue for my entire life, so I will not allow myself. I'm saying this now, kind of cursing myself. I'm saying this now, but I'm not going to. I hope I'm not muffling anything. I don't even know where the microphone is. Sorry if I've muffled it. That would be classic me. Anyway, he just don't care. Lost his leg. Absolutely freezing. He's still doing his own thing. Going over snowbank. They're not supposed to go into people's yards, and they know it. And they usually yell at the cats when they do that. That's probably why he's doing this, because he can get away with it, because he knows I'm not going to yell at him. Anyway, the other thing. Okay, well, I didn't really get to that point. The point was that I've had multiple therapists say this, and they are sort of missing the point. It seems ideal to some people, except there is no relationship in my life, and I've gotten used to it because it's been decades. You can't buy that. It doesn't matter if I have all the time in the world. If you don't have people, you don't have people. There's nothing to be done about it. Both of them are coming. I don't know if you can see Percy. He's way up there. Come on. Or smoke, which is air. Here he comes. The other thing is, and this is the quote from my therapist, and it doesn't make sense to me, but what he said was that having a kid with autism, or even not with autism, just having a kid, period, and being a single parent, they have a cat in their window. Can't see it. Anyway, he said, embodied me to be able to have a successful avoidant lifestyle. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I actually said, what? What he meant was that I wasn't so missing other things, other relationships, because of my son. And actually, at first he was like, well, because you didn't have to have other relationships because of my kid. I'm like, excuse me, as you've heard unfortunately, one of the side effects of having a kid is that I was forced to have relationships I had no interest in having whatsoever, like with his doctors and his teachers and his daycare and all this other stuff. There goes Percy. And here comes Perry, and he's probably freezing to death. Well, I don't know, cats seem to be fine out here in the cold. I don't know. I think I can kind of see what he's saying. I do not completely agree with it. Like, I don't agree with it. Because the thing is, I do beat myself up a lot about my kid. That, I didn't know he was autistic. I didn't realize the extent of his ADHD. Definitely had no clue that he was maybe schizophrenic. Although my therapist said after the fact, and of course he would never diagnose, he's never met my son. Well, no, he actually has once, but he's not like met with my son. He said, well, some of the things he's saying, it did, cross my mind. I think Harry likes these banks. He's safe from the cars. But never crossed my mind. And if I had been around other families and saw other kids, then maybe it would have occurred to me that there was something going on that wasn't normal, because I had exactly one data point in my son, and I assumed he was normal. Oh well. So I do blame myself a lot for that. Whatever's gone on with him. Could I have noticed it faster, better, if I had more, there's my boy, interactions. Percy's already gone up. Let's see if I kill myself on the snow. I didn't on that entire icy walkway going down. I think we're still in the clear. Anyway, I don't know. I mean, I don't actually see a way for somebody with avoidant personality disorder to be successful, like, in any way, shape, or form functioning if they truly do not have interaction with people at all. Would I have been less avoidant? Would I have more relationships if I didn't have my kid? I'm not going to blame him. I don't know. Oh, there goes Percy. I don't know. It was a thought. I don't really have an answer. And I'm freezing, so I can't really articulate my thoughts any further. So I'm going to stop this. Anyway, but those were the two things that my therapist brought up. That he thinks, like, the avoidant lifestyle leads to an ideal lifestyle. That I definitely do not agree with. The way I run my finances has nothing to do with avoidant personality disorder. It's just something separate. And as far as, am I functioning this way because of my kid? I don't know. I don't think that's fair. I don't know another way at this point. I mean, I lived by myself for 10 years before I had my son. Basically all my romantic relationships were before I had my son. I had one wobble when he was 4. It was disastrous. Other than that, and his father and I broke up while I was still pregnant. So like a month of dating in 18 years doesn't really count for much, right? I don't know, not having any friends because I had no space to have them because of the doctors and professionals for my son. That's harsh and not cool that I'm even suggesting that. But, I don't know. Anyway, just thoughts. And then, like I said, it's absolutely freezing. So I'm going to stop this.